according to my own desires or my own auspices, and according to my will to place cares or to establish cares. So why if these things were allowed to me, then I would do this. First, I would settle or establish a Trojan city, the sweet remnants of my own. So like this, the Trojan city is the sweet remnants of my own people. And if the high roofs of dwellings of Priam were to remain, then I would, with my hand, I would place a renewed renewed pergamum for the conquered ones. But now, Narian Apollo, uh, Great Italy, and the Lycian lots ordered to take up or to capture Italy. So he's saying that these two things, these lots that I've been drawn, and then Apollo ordered me to do these things. Here is love. Here is the fatherland. If and this is okay. So and if the site of the Libyan city detains you, and the citadels, if the citadels of Carthage detain you, a Phoenician one, why is it envied? Why is it envied finally for Trojans or to the Trojans to settle in Ausonian land? So if these things keep you in Carthage, then why is it envied to the Trojans? Why is the opportunity envied to the Trojans to settle in Ausonian lands? And our divine right it is to seek sweet kingdoms. So this is that strong word that means the right order of things. And here's what he says furthermore. Well, there's no furthermore, but this is so he says the image, the troubled image of Father Anchises terrifies me as many times, or yeah, terrifies me as. So he's saying that Anchises comes to him in his dreams as many times as with the dewy shades the night covers the lands, and as many times as the stars rise, he admonishes me in sleep. Me, the boy Ascanius, the injuries of the beloved head or of the dear head, whom I defraud from the kingdom of Hesperia and from the fated fields. So these, his son also, and the injury he's doing to him by denying him Rome is also admonishing him. Now even an interpreter of the gods from Jove having been sent, from Jove himself having been sent, I swear by each head. So he's saying, I swear by both of our heads that this really happened. Through the swift airs, mandates he carried down, I myself saw in manifest light the god. So in clear light, I saw the god entering the walls, and I drank down his voice with these ears. Stop, stop burning up or incensing me and you with your quarrels. I do not seek, or I do not follow Italy by wish or by choice or by will. So what you choose for that definitely has an effect on how you read Aeneas' character. She spoke, and having pressed mouth on the couch, we will die unavenged, but let us die, she says. Thus, it pleases to go under the shades. Let him drink this fire with eyes, and who's he? He's the cruel Dardanian one, from the deep, because he'll be out sailing, so from the deep let him drink in this fire, and let him carry with himself the omens of our death. She had spoken, and the comrades see that one having collapsed on a sword among the middle of such things, or between such things, and the sword with gore spraying, so the sword spraying with gore and scattered or sprinkled hands, so that hands are sprinkled with the flecks of blood. A shout or a clamor goes up to the deep or to the high halls, and uh, rumor rages through the struck city, and with laments and with a groan and with a feminine howl, The roofs shuddered and resounded with great wailings the upper air. Not otherwise than if, with an enemy having been let in, all Carthage and ancient Tyre, flames raging through the tops of men um, and so flames are rolled through the heights of men and through the heights of God. So the flames are raging up all the way through the roofs and all the way up to the gods. She heard, and who is it that heard? It's the lifeless or the bloodless and thoroughly terrified sister. So Anna's going to come in here, and she probably heard the rumor, and with a trembling course, the sister, with nails defiling or uglying her faces or her face, so she's scratching or probably holding her face and scratching her face because she's in so much terror or so uh, upset to see her sister dying, and uh, with fists defiling or beating chests, she rushes through the mists, and the dying one she shouts at or she calls by name. Was this um, was this that thing, sister? Were you seeking me with fraud? Was this funeral pyre itself for me? And were fires and altars preparing this thing? What thing first should I seek, having been deserted? Or did you hope a comrade, or did you, dying one, hope a comrade, sister? So did you hope me to die with you? Would that you would have called me to the same fates. Likewise, uh, the same sorrow. Would that it's okay. Would that the same hour would have carried and sorrow would have carried both by the same by the same sword. No, that's not right. Would that the same hour would have carried, and would that the same sorrow would have carried both of us? I built with these hands, and I called uh, the fathers gods, the fathers and the gods by this voice, thus that I might be absent, or that I might be away, so that you would leave me. Um, with you having been placed thus, cruel one. So did I do all of these things? Did I build this funeral pyre? Did I call and invoke the gods and the fathers, that with you having been placed thus, cruel one, I would be absent or I would be gone? You extinguished you and me, sister, and the people, both the people and the fathers, and the Sidonian fathers, and your city. So you killed all of these things with your death. Give Give that I may wash wounds with water, and if any last breath above wanders, that I may catch with mouth. Thus having spoken, she ascended these high stairs, and the lifeless or half alive sister in a fold, having embraced, she was cherishing or fondling, so she was holding on to her, probably like petting her head or something like that. And with a groan, she was drying dark gore with a vestment. That one, as in Dido, having attempted heavy eyes to lift again, fails, and under the chest the infixed wound hisses. 3 times lifting herself on elbow, and or having leaned on elbow, she raises herself, and having rolled back on the couch, with wandering eyes she was seeking light from the high sky, and she groans with it having been found. Then omnipotent Juno, having pitied the long sorrow and the difficult strugglings or difficult deaths, downfalls, sends Iris from Olympus, who the wrestling soul and the tied up limbs would resolve or would loosen. For since neither by merited fate nor by death she was perishing, but miserable before the day, incensed suddenly by rage, not yet for her had Persephone the yellow hair from the top of her head taken away, and not yet had she condemned the head to Stygian Orcus. Therefore Iris, with yellow feathers through the sky, and Iris is dewy, so the goddess has dew around her because she makes a rainbow, dragging 1,000 various colors opposite the sun, or with the sun having been opposite, she flies down, and above the hedge she stops, or stood. This sacred thing I to Pluto having been ordered. So this sacred thing I carry to Pluto having been ordered, and I dissolve you or loosen you from this body. Thus she speaks, and with right hand she cuts the hair all and all together at once, heat having fallen, slid away, and into the winds life receded.